Welcome back to another website review video. In this video, we're going to take a look at an accountant's website, but again, like in all of these, the changes that I'm going to show you for these websites also work across pretty much every single industry. So we've tried this in over 27 different unique industries all around the world, and these are the sort of changes that move the needle the most on website conversion rates and their overall profitability. So let's just jump straight into this one. All right, so this is FEMIA Accountants. Not sure if I've pronounced that right. I'm horrible at pronunciation, but this is an accountant's website. I want to start off with saying I really love the choice of the red that they've used. It's not a very typical accountant color, and I think that is great because there's certain industries like electricians using yellow. It becomes very generic very quickly. Accountants are normally blue. Or even yellow. I've seen a lot of yellow accountant websites, but they've chosen a really nice red and it comes up looking quite good on their website. So thumbs up for that one, but let's jump into the areas that they can improve. And I do want to say with this one, I can see what they're trying to do. A lot of the content that they've put on the homepage in this section here in particular, I can see they're trying to hit some keywords, but it comes across as keyword stuffing, and it would be better served put down on the page a little bit further. But let's start at the top and go through it. Great logo, choice of text, pretty great. There's no problems there. The main problem is that their primary highlight color or their highlight color clashes with their primary color, so their brand color. So they've got an orange sitting on top of a red. So this doesn't stand out to me at all. They would actually be better off having a white background with black text, would stand out much better on their header. I actually have a video on the best format for a menu bar, which is really worth a watch to see the best practices there. They've actually hit the majority of it. However, the clash of colors in the Contact Us is quite a big issue. So that'd be the first thing to change. Then the second part, as we go down, the use of the homepage top hero section, that prime website real estate, is great. They haven't put way too much space at the top, and they've used the area really well. They also have most of the elements of a great hero section. However, there's a couple of big issues. The first thing is accountants you can partner with is a relatively general term. They'd be better off talking about a specialty or some sort of unique selling point for their business. So accountants with 35 plus years in tax related accountant work or something like that. Obviously off the top of my head, it's not the best. Then the amount of text that they have here is pretty overwhelming. So realistically, in this section, you're not trying to get across the business's life story. You're not trying to get across all of this peripheral information. In this section, you want to hit them hard with a really succinct title, follow it up with a really powerful, maximum 3 sentences, but 1 to 2 sentences about unique selling points, credentials. So it might be, members of the Australian accounting standards for over 35 years, something along those lines, 100 in-house expert accountants, something that makes you stand out from your competition. And you put that in just 1 to 2 sentences underneath the accountants, underneath the title. So then once you've reduced that down, then we come to one of my biggest pet peeves, and that is multiple calls to action. So in some cases, it's required. So if you've got sales and services, then you need to have one for shop our products and shop our services. In that case, that's fine. You can do that and it makes sense. However, in a case of a service-based business, they've now got 3 different calls to action. And there's one thing you need to know about people online is they seem to act in a really simple way. So if you give them even 2 different calls to action, if it's not super clearly defined what each is, they go into decision paralysis and your conversion rate plummets. So they would be much better off just having a big book a consultation now button instead of having these 2 email us and call us. The other thing is this book a consultation doesn't look like a button. So these 2 buttons, again, I don't think that the color is the highlight color is right, considering the brand color. It should be quite a clear contrast color to your primary brand color. However, they do look much better than this book consultation because this just looks like almost a big section. It doesn't have that view instant recognition as a button. So I would reduce this size down to maybe a little bit bigger than one of these and just have that as the primary call to action. So there's only negatives to having 3 calls to action here. So the other thing that they're missing in this first section is any sort of social proof. So you need to either have some reviews, some partners you work with, anything that shows that other people have worked with you and were happy with your results. So I will just skip over this newsletter update for now and go down to this section here, which is the review system or the Google reviews. They have fantastic Google reviews, a 4.9 with 134 reviews on Google. This is literal website gold. So by all means, have this section here, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But take this, the 4.9 stars based on 134 reviews powered by Google, and put that as a little badge right at the top or right under the book a consultation once you remove these buttons. That would be far more helpful than almost anything else you can do. So then with this section in general as well, the reviews are so powerful, except they're hidden behind a really small scrolling section on the web page. This should be your pride and joy, and I would even remove this out. There's a whole bunch of plugins that do this really well. They're even free, especially on WordPress. Pull this out and have, 4.9 star rating based on 134 reviews, and then 1 or 2 reviews next to it that scroll through so that you can actually read a bunch of them at once instead of having to kind of scroll down and squint to see what the reviews say. So yeah, but very, very powerful. The next part on the homepage is this newsletter updates. To be honest, unless you're inviting them for something or they know your business or you've got some reason for them to sign up, there's very few people who are going to fill in a contact us or like a newsletter subscription just because. So if you did want to have this on here, have it as a single line, name, email, sign up, and some reason for them to sign up. So it might be maybe not with accountants, but with, for example, with product, e-commerce websites, you'll do something like get $10 off your next purchase. It could be sign up to our newsletter and get a free 30-minute consultation about your upcoming tax return. So you've got to incentivize them if you're doing that. And you also need to be an active be sending out emails on an active, consistent basis. So if you're not and you're just collecting emails, that it's just a useless function on your website. And I've seen that a lot on a lot of customers' websites. They have this because they think it's a good idea to collect the email, which it is, but then they don't have the infrastructure to service those people with emails. So yeah, that would be reduced, and then you'd go into a really large in-your-face testimonials section. And then the next thing that they should do is have their services here, just a summary of their services, maybe an about us, maybe benefits of working with them, and really use the homepage because, like I always say, the homepage is by far the most viewed page on your website for 90% of websites. Pretty much every viewer of your website is going to see this section, which is why I always harp on about it and try and drive home how important this section is. Then I haven't actually had a look at their Contact Us page. I got too sidetracked with their home page, but we'll have a look at this together. Okay, so first thoughts is the order is incorrect. So there's some unnecessary information on here. For example, the sidebar, this is getting people to go away from your contact page. If someone's come to your Contact Us page, the worst thing that possibly can happen is they get distracted by a helpful resource and click on that instead of filling out your form. If you've got them to your Contact Us page, the only information you want on here is how to get in contact. That's by far the easiest way to increase your conversion rate at the Contact Us, is to make it as easy as possible to get in contact. So by having this visible before essentially any contact information, you've got a little bit here and you've got the location, may not have a huge impact on the success. However, just makes things unnecessarily complicated. So in fact, what I'd do is I'd remove this sidebar, put the map down below at the bottom, put this information on the left-hand side and the Contact Us for the Contact Us form on the right-hand side, and leave it at that. You don't need all the other information. You've got double up information here. So if you just had that separated, so the standard information where they can put it in their own device or whatever, like their phone or email account, over on the left, and then the form on the right and the map underneath, they'd see a massive uptick in conversion rate of people actually getting to this page. All right, so I hope that's been helpful for your own website. If you're looking at this, even if you're not an accountant, you can use all of these recommendations across pretty much any industry, and it's going to work for you and it's going to improve your website. So if you've liked it, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.